The funniest part for me, it was either blurry or glitchy, or I had the spinning wheel for everything except where we got to see 58-year-old butt cheeks. I'll tell you what, I wasn't impressed with anything after the first round, but I was impressed with his cheeks.
You liked his cheeks, huh?
I did.
Thank God I couldn't bet in California, because when I saw the cheeks, I would have just go ahead and bet on Jake Paul after that.
Hello, everybody. It is Fitz and Whit. We are your hosts, Ryan Fitzpatrick and Andrew Whitworth. What a great time we had last week in Philly. This is a show where the combined number of our kids could fill an entire starting offense for an NFL. Yes, I have 7, and Andrew has 4. Coming up on the episode, we will react to Josh Allen's 4th down game winner to take down the Chiefs. I was pretty pumped about that, Whit. I don't know how you feel, but I know Tony Gonzalez isn't. Woo! Josh Allen. We'll break down Lamar and his bizarre struggles against the Steelers. That's been a really weird one to get our finger on. And then we'll get on to more important topics like Iron Mike, buns of steel. Those things look pretty good still. I mean, they look good. Netflix, a lot of pixels, a lot of spinning wheels. We'll get into that a little bit later. But before we do, what a time we had in Philly. That was awesome.
Fitz. Philly never disappoints. Always can look forward to some good food, a little bit of fellowship. I thought, we had a good walk. Went to go see the Rocky statue. He looks good. He's still fit. I don't know.
That was my first time. I was surprised he wasn't on top of the steps. He's now just street level, right?
I warned you about that. I ran to it last year. I was disappointed.
That's why I went this year.
I thought I was going to run up the steps and I was going to be up there to take the picture, and that's not the case. It's down the side. So a little disappointed there, but that's okay. We headed over to the Reading Market Terminal, and we had some good sandwiches at DeNick's. Those guys took care of us, man. Nice little pork roll was special. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. One awkward moment, and this happens sometimes with us when we're around because everybody notices Andrew walking around. Reading Market was really crowded. Every now and again, somebody will give us something for free, and we got a few sandwiches for free. We tried to pay, they wouldn't. But then I had 2 other buddies that showed up, so I had to ask for 2 more sandwiches that they gave us again for free, and I felt horrible. So we offered them some money.
Yeah, they thought they were taking care of the football guys, and then you had 6 friends come.
It ended up being 6
made the whole
sandwiches.
thing awkward.
Thanks to Nick. Sorry about that.
Yeah, they still took care of us, though. They did us right. But hey, look, it was good. It was a good day. We saw the statue. We got a chance to have a good sandwich and some fellowship, and then let's get to the game, man. I mean, obviously, coming into this one, it was going to be a big NFC East matchup. Eagles, Commanders, and the Eagles took them down 26-18. After the game, Fitz, I'm going to tell you what, one of my favorite parts of the whole night, Saquon, man. What a special human being. What a special player. I still think that this guy should be in the MVP conversation, because when you talk about the most valuable player to a team, he brings a different vibe and energy to this Eagles team that feels like one they all are rallying around. Is his positivity and his relentless pursuit to be great, man. This guy looks like he's getting better every week.
Well, and I mean, where would they be without him? Where would they be without him? They're unbelievable right now. But I made some comments after the game about Jalen Hurts. I mean, I went into this thing, watching the tape. Great go ball thrower. And he's been playing really well. He's gotten hot after the bye week. I think adjusting to all the offensive coordinators. He's doing well with Kellen Moore right now. But I didn't come out of that game very confident that if they get into a game where it relies on Jalen Hurts beating a team through the air or coming back, someone when they're down, that he's going to do it. And I think a few reasons. One, he's not seeing the field great right now. Part of that could be it's a new offense. Part of it, and being 6'7", I mean, the size of these dudes, if you get his tackles,
a big man in front of him.
Lane Johnson is little at 6'6", because then we've got Mailata. How big is Jordan Mailata?
I mean, he's every bit of 6'8", 6'9". That dude towers over me.
And anytime you're standing next to a guy and you look little, I know that it's a big man. But Mekhi Becton is at least 6'7". Landon Dickerson is 6'6", and tiny Cam Jurgens at center is about 6'3". Yeah. But Jalen's not a big guy. Jalen's 6'1", maybe. And so when you don't play man-to-man coverage and give him those go routes on the outside, you play some sort of zone, you make him read the field. I think he's got a hard time seeing. I really do, because there's so much size out front. And that's where you see him holding on to it a little bit, trying to make decisions and escaping outside the pocket. And I'm interested to see if they had to win a game that way. if it's going to go in their favor, because he's done it before. He played great in the Super Bowl, even though they didn't win. But I was concerned coming out of that game that Jalen's going to be able to win those type of games for the Eagles this year.
Yeah, and the positive to them, though, as we said in post-game, Fitz, is when you look at their fronts, up front, and their D-line, their O-line, their skill positions, they're as talented as anybody. And so all it really takes, as we've seen in the past, is getting hot at the right time. And, if Jalen does that, they're going to be a really hard team to beat. But let's get to, I know you want to talk about this game. You're so freaking excited. I mean, it took you like 10 minutes to get back to me after I said, go Bills. But let's get to the big game of the day. Chiefs at Bills.
Yeah.
Somebody I seem like I know might have said this was going to happen, but the Bills take them down 30-21. Fitz, come on, talk to me. I know you're excited. Tell me about it.
I'm so excited. I didn't get back to you because there was a lot of running around and screaming in my household. I do have some Bills fans. I have other fans too, but this was a big game for everybody in my house. Josh Allen, I mean, he knew the job that he had to do. And he knew it wasn't going to be easy. Kincaid was out. Keon Coleman was out. Amari Cooper had, did they have the chemistry yet? He had missed the last few games. They hit a few big ones. But at the end, what did it come down to? Josh Allen making a play. And my goodness, that 4th and 2 where he took off and ran into the end zone. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, but the way he gets himself into this MVP candidate talk is for Lamar to have a few bad games today and for him to knock off the Chiefs and for him to beat the Detroit Lions. The tough thing is going to be it's at Detroit. This one was at home, but the fans were in it the whole time. They deserve this. And you and I got to walk around last year with those fans. You know how special they are.
I do.
You know how much they care about this team. And the best part about Bills fans, though, is we are scarred. There have been moments in Bills history.
There's been some rough moments.
I was getting text messages after Josh's touchdown that were like, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. And I was like, okay, it's 2 minutes and 10 seconds left and they're up 2 scores. I think it's over. It's not over yet. Okay. But I will say this, the fans deserve this. And heading into this year with all the question marks, with Diggs gone, with Gabe Davis gone, with all the captains no longer there, this is Josh Allen's football team, and he's leading them to victory every week. The defense is getting better and better. TB with a huge pick at the end of the game. Von Miller, I loved his press conference at the end. Josh Allen was, no, it's just another game, and Von was like, hell no, this wasn't another game. We had to go out and win this game to prove that we could do it to us and to our fan base and to everybody else in the NFL because we knew everybody would be watching. But pretty awesome to knock off an undefeated team and to do it in that fashion at home.
There's no doubt. And I mean, what's the last time the Chiefs gave up 30 points? I mean, pretty special performance. I think maybe the Super Bowl against the Eagles. I mean, it's something like that. I mean, almost 30 games. It's rare
insane.
to happen.
It's insane.
Absolutely insane. But you say that about Von. You know who sticks out when we made our Super Bowl run in L.A.? I'll never forget when Von came in, the number one thing he did when he got in our locker room, he brought his old Super Bowl trophy from Denver. He put it in the locker room, and he wrote a note under it to make sure every guy knew this is what we're playing for from now on. Like, he was not let guys be like, hey, let's kind of escape that whole conversation. He's like, no, let's talk about it, and let's put it out there in the air that this is what we're after. And then I'll never forget him challenging AD. Like, hey, dude, you're the best player on the planet. If anybody can speak up and talk, it's you. And he would speak life into AD in that way, and it was the most vocal I'd ever heard AD be. So you saying that about Von, I love that Von loves to just say, let's call it what it is. This is a huge moment, and let's feed off of it and make it a part of who we are. But speaking of wheeze, Fitz, you used a lot of wheeze when you're talking about Buffalo because you give me a lot of stuff. You give me a lot of crap when I say we, talking about the Los Angeles Rams. So you got to give me a little insight, man. Why do I feel like of all the teams you played for, it just feels like there's this special part of like you that like you really feel like you are Bills Mafia. You were a part of it.
Well, they're my kind of people. They really are. They get me and I get them. And there's a certain grit about them. There's a certain toughness about this fan base. You saw Bill Cowher going through the table.
That was awesome. I got a little nervous. I was scared for Coach.
I thought he hit his head. I really did. But I'll say this, the Bills Mafia origin story, a lot of people don't know it. And Pablo Torre did a great job explaining it. I didn't even know it when he explained it recently, but Bills Mafia, The origin story is from a game that I played in against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We ended up going into overtime. I threw a pass to Stevie Johnson from about midfield into the end zone, and it went right through his hands, and he dropped it. And this is the first time I ever heard of Twitter, too. He goes on Twitter, and he blames God. And he says, God, I praise you 24/7, and you do me like this. Something like that was his tweet. And Schefter got on there and kind of went after Stevie and said, I can't believe this guy would blame God. And then the mafia was formed. They went after Schefter and they said, this is our guy. And if you're part of the Bills Mafia, they're loyal to you. They love you. And as players in Buffalo, you give that back to them because you feel it every time you take the field. And that's why it's so special. And that's why every now and again a wee slips out when I talk about the Bills.
There's a few wees there.
But you know what? It's a fun community to be a part of. And J.J. Watt tweeting today about what a special time he had. I know, last year, me and you taking you around and, cooking pizzas out of a filing cabinet and all the fun things we did. I don't know that there's a fan base in the NFL like them. I really don't. It's a special experience.
It is, Fitz. And if you think about this win, how big it is, just to Vaughn's credit, even saying it was, the Chiefs really had a situation there where if they win this game, they're in a pretty good, not to say you can cruise, but you can feel pretty confident about what seed you're getting and where you're going to kind of fall in this whole thing and feeling good about the 1 seed. But now with this loss, the Bills are right on their heels, and now the Bills own the tiebreaker, which is huge because for the chances of these playoffs, for there to be a bye week for Josh Allen and these guys to get healthy, and then the playoffs to have to go through Buffalo, I just think that's a massive advantage if that can happen. And so they are right there with an opportunity to get it, but they've still got some tough challenges ahead.
Yeah, and what about, let's switch gears here to the AFC North. A place I know you're familiar with and played 11 years. I got a few years in the AFC North, but I know you had a lot more battles than I did. The Ravens and the Steelers. I mean, first of all, winning a game with 6 field goals, that sounds like AFC North football. But what is it about the Steelers and them having the Ravens number?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's one of those things. It's just like when I'm feeling confident about Cincinnati and they have to play the Steelers. I don't know what it is. They can be as hot as they want to be, and I just feel like when they play the Steelers, it doesn't happen. And something about the Ravens, when they play the Steelers, it's turnovers, it's penalties, it's things where you're like, man, all season long, we haven't felt this way about you, and you haven't been this way in big moments. And then you play the Steelers, and it all comes out in one game. I mean, tons of penalties today that really hurt them in this game. Obviously, a turnover early in the game. It's almost like they speak it into existence. The Steelers are talking about they're going to get Herbig back in this game. And a couple plays into the game, he gets a huge fumble on Derrick Henry kind of to start the momentum of this game. And you just felt it like, it's going to be one of those games for the Ravens. And it just wasn't the performance of the Lamar we've seen that everybody's touting as he's the MVP without question. This is the game that always makes you have to question him.
Yeah, and he was the runaway MVP, right? And then you stack one of these, and then maybe another one shows up, and then you start doubting what Lamar has done, which is he's been amazing all year long, but these are the games that really matter. And I always go back to with Lamar, the amazing stat of like his career versus the NFC, right? Yeah. I think he's 23-3 or something crazy like that. But he hasn't beat the Steelers in a long time. I mean, they have trouble with Pittsburgh. And I'll tell you, I was thinking back to my career, and a little bit different than yours, obviously, in terms of me bouncing around in so many different spots. So, yes, I was part of rivalries, but, Buffalo for 4, other places, it was just 2 years. I played the Patriots a lot, and I think I was 3-14 maybe versus the Patriots. I mean, it was the Tom Brady era where there weren't a whole lot of wins happening in the AFC East. But the other one, no matter where I went, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was 0-6 in my career. I never beat them as a starter. And it didn't matter if it was early in my career, late in my career. They're such a tough team to play, and that was with Roethlisberger. So not only is the defense getting after the quarterback, and not only are they creating turnovers, but at that point they were an offensive juggernaut too. You have any? I mean, how'd you do versus the Steelers? Are there particulars with you as well?
Yeah, I mean, you think of my time in Cincinnati. Obviously, we're very up and down. My first, probably 2 or 3 years we struggled, and then all of a sudden in 09 we get it together and sweep the division, and then in 10 we're bad again, and then 11 through 15 we're a really good football team. But when I really think of like being in one of those situations where, and I truly believe this, like I think the Ravens are just as good a football team as the Steelers, if not really, in my opinion, because of what they can do offensively. They are a better team from what they're capable of and what they've shown all season. I mean, this is the first game this season they've been held under 375 yards and 20 points. I mean, so it just shows you that the potential they can play at. I think of my Rams-Niners battles because early in my time as a Ram, we beat up on the Niners in the first year. In the first game, we beat them in this huge showdown, on Thursday Night Football, I think it was. And then later in the year, the game didn't matter, so we sat out and they won. But then we really only won a couple more times, and then they dominated us for a while. And really, it was all games where we'd go in there and it's like, man, we're turning the ball over. We're making mistakes. We, pick sixes. Everything that could go wrong went wrong, and you felt owned by this team. Yeah. And it was really one of these things where we struggled with ever admitting that, they're a really good football team. It was like we always felt like because we'd gone to the Super Bowl in 18, we'd had such better records than them during that time that like we're the better team. They're just getting lucky in those games. And I'll never forget in my last season, they beat us in their place, and then they come to us week 18, and we're winning the game. They come all the way back. We take it to overtime. They end up winning the game. And it's the first time in our locker room that I ever experienced that all the guys were like, you know what? They're just a really damn good football team. And if we play them again, we're going to have to play our absolute best to beat them. So to think that the opposite scenario happened in the NFC Championship where we get down late in the game and we have to make this miraculous comeback and we do it and win and go to the Super Bowl, it was kind of like, it was almost like it was a story written for us because it was like, man, you just feel like you fail every time you play this team until you finally realize, well, maybe they're just really freaking good and I'm going to have to play my absolute best for us to beat them. And then you find a way to do that.
Yeah, well, a scheduling quirk here for the Steelers, and we've been looking at this all year long. They hadn't had any division games. We're going to find out who they really are, and I think we know who they are. In their last 8 games, and it started this week, they've got all 6 division games, and they're at Philly, and they play Kansas City. That's their schedule for the last 8. So, they're playing Cleveland a couple times, but that's going to be a dogfight. Yeah, they're playing Cincy a couple times, but all those division games, you never know what's going to happen. So it's just a weird thing with them this year that was their first one, but you always love to see what happens. If you've been watching the show, we always appreciate guys that have each other's backs. It is time now for, you guessed it, witness protection, where we shout out the player that is a tone setter, one that takes his role as a protector serious, just like our left tackle and Walter Payton Man of the Year, Andrew Whitworth. Last week, this was really cool. We did the deal with, Josh Allen scores a touchdown against Indianapolis. He gets thrown down in the end zone. Spencer Brown runs over there. Well, Spencer Brown ended up getting fined $12,000 for that. And the process, crazy. You may be able to speak better to this than me, but the process in the NFL, you'll get a FedEx letter, you get fined, you can appeal it. And a lot of times, if it's something like this, I'm going to assume Spencer Brown is going to get out of this one. They want to send a little warning shot. He appeals it. They say, okay, you're good. Don't do it again. He doesn't have to pay any money. But go ahead and why don't you tell the listeners what you decided to do after we heard he was getting fined $12,000?
Yeah, well, I shot you a text. I said, hey, man, this is ridiculous. I know we can't pay the fines for him. The league wouldn't obviously let us do that. But let's do something cool. Let's make something cool out of it. Let's donate $12,000, whatever he got fined, to a charity that means a lot to him, and see if we can find some common ground there. And you found a way to get a hold of him, and he said he was in. So we had the opportunity. I know some people. Week. Actually,
I have the text right here. I was going to read. So Mission 22 is what he sent back, and he said basically their mission is they help veterans struggling with their mental health post-service, and they help them deal with their suicidal thoughts and PTSD. And we love that. We thought, what a great cause. That's perfect for him and what he stands for, perfect for us, and what this witness protection is all about. So Now, we can't promise to do this every week. You might be able to, but I got 7 kids. I don't know if I can give away that much money every week, but it's for
you got
to
save up for that dog you're getting for Christmas too. So
bullshit. What, do you have any nominees for this week? What do we see? What do we see today?
We had some good. There was some feisty games today. I mean, there was a little chippiness going on out there on the field. All good stuff though. Good. The big fellas getting a little feisty with each other. Some quarterbacks getting hit here or there. Maybe a little touch late. I thought I saw one, in the Green Bay game with Chicago where Caleb kind of gets pushed out of bounds, and he might have been acting a little bit, but I was a little disappointed I didn't see anybody get in, anybody's face over that one. But I will say sometimes it's all about just the moments you create, right? So I had in the Broncos-Falcons game, obviously the Broncos crushed the Falcons 38-6. But, man, the team rallying around Javonte Williams when he's trying to get in the end zone and basically carrying him into the end zone. And then it was like they had an all-out party, the excitement level, the energy they had. Those moments are so special. I've had some of those in my career where you push a pile for a first down or you push a guy into the end zone. I can remember being a rookie in Baltimore, and I think it was Rudy Johnson getting stood up at like the half-yard line and me getting off of my block and hitting him in his back and helping driving him into the end zone. And it was like the first moment I ever felt part of the team because guys got so excited that happened. And in the meeting, I got recognized for it. And so it was like, man, it was the first time I ever felt like, man, it's not just do your job, Rook. Like you actually felt like, oh, man, the guys like me. So it's like you see those moments, you see how excited those guys were to get behind him and push him in the end zone. Denver's got something special going, Fitz. There's an energy building right now that Sean Payton has, and I think it's pretty rare to see young quarterback, a team rallying around him. It's almost the opposite of the Chicago Bears situation. It's a team that flat out believes in each other and their rookie quarterback. And one thing we know for sure, Fitz, Sean Payton still owns the NFC South. Blew every one of them out, Fitz. Every one of them.
Yeah. It seemed like it was personal to him how bad he was beaten up on the NFC South. But I'll tell you, the vibes are high right now. The vibes are high. When we saw them play, they're a confusing team to me. They really are, because I think they're really good on defense this year. I think there's a lot left on the table on offense, but he has Bo Nix playing his best football right now. And they are beating up on teams, which is I'm shocked about. I mean, really, they should have beat the Chiefs last week, right? So it's been an amazing thing what he has done. That team was supposed to be in shambles after the Russell Wilson contract for years and years, and he's done a great job building the confidence, building that team back up, and he proved it again today. And Bo Nix is playing out of this world right now. I didn't see this coming after us watching that game, but
he struggled in our game. He did. I mean, that's just a fact. He struggled, but he has got it going since.
All right, Whit, we made it to our favorite part of the show. Stay humble, because in the NFL, it comes at you fast. And when you think you have it all figured out, whether it's your career, whether it's your team, you don't. The Ravens found that out today. What's your stay humble moment of the week, Andrew?
I'm going to call myself out on this one, Fitz. It's been a rough weekend. Talking to some former Tigers. I wasn't just a Cincinnati Bengal. I was also a Bengal Tiger in college at LSU. And, we had this great moment last week with Michael coming with us to the Ravens-Bengals game. Then we go down to LSU and Bama whoops up on the Tigers in front of Michael. But we had an amazing dad-son trip. It was awesome. I'm dad of the year leaving that trip, right? So then I planned Drew. I'm like, hey, Drew, you saw how much fun Michael had? We're going to do the same thing. Here's what we're going to do. The Tigers are going to get in the SEC championship. That's what I planned with him. So we'll buy tickets to Atlanta. We're going to go to a game, go check out the Tigers in the SEC championship. This was a few weeks ago. And so
how's it been going?
Michael's jacked up. He's had a great trip. Drew's like, hey, Dad, remember my trip was to the SEC championship? LSU's gotten blown out 2 weeks in a row. So I went from dad of the year to your stay humble moment is maybe I had a little too much faith in my Tigers. They let me down. I'm out. Now I got to sit on the side. My emotions, I got to pull them out now.
You can take them camping or fishing.
Yeah, we're going to have to do something different. Drew, man.
Take them to a movie.
Drew, man, Dad's going to make an audible, okay? I promise, buddy. I'll audible. We're going to find something else fun to do.
Well, my stay humble moment of the week is for Netflix.
Oh.
Everybody tried to tune into that Tyson-Paul fight. The constant buffering, the spinning wheel of death. Sometimes I had video with no sound. Live sports isn't as easy as it looks.
It's
Some
not.
of these other
Fitz.
streaming services, they make it look easy, but it's not. Stay humble, Netflix.
Stay humble, baby.
I will say this. The funniest part about that whole thing,
Okay.
there was one part.
That Jake Paul has more wins than the Cowboys in Texas Stadium, or?
No,
no.
not that.
Okay.
Not that.
Got it.
The funniest part for me, it was either blurry or glitchy, or I had the spinning wheel for everything except the Mike Tyson interview before the fight, where we got to see 58-year-old butt cheeks. I'll tell you what, the guy's got some decent cheeks. I mean, I know we've seen a lot of cheeks in our day being in a locker room with, but I was impressed.
You were.
I wasn't impressed with anything after the first round, but I was impressed with his cheeks.
You liked his cheeks, huh?
I did.
Thank God I couldn't bet in California, because when I saw the cheeks, I would have just go ahead and bet on Jake Paul after that. So,
Too much cottage cheese or what?
just the power comes from the legs and the ass.
He's 58.
Man.
He's
I
50, as we
understand.
heard on the broadcast plenty. He's
And
58.
you saw him trying to move around that ring, didn't you? The man needs to do some glute work.
I did. This led me, though, to thinking about who's the most famous person that has seen your ass cheeks.
This feels like an inappropriate conversation. I mean, mine's pretty easy, Fitz. It's called All of America, because my ass cheeks were actually on live TV after a football game in our locker room.
This was on purpose? Or are you strutting through the locker room?
No. I was trying to take a shower and get the heck out of there. And unfortunately, I think our teammate at NFL on Prime, Albert Breer, was doing an interview of Adam Jones.
Albert.
And I got full cheeks, baby. Mama wasn't
Did you
happy,
really?
too. I think Mama sent out a tweet, unhappy with the league.
Well, what is your... Yeah, how do you think? I don't know if I've seen it. Are you tan? Like, do you have the farmer's tan? Are you looking good?
This is late in the year, Cincinnati. It's cold.
Oh, they haven't seen the light of day in a long time.
No light of day. These are white cheeks now. These are baby white.
Is there a point of the year where they're not white cheeks?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Let's be honest. I'm not one of those guys. I don't tan. Yeah, we're not taking the bathing suit off to tan, Fitz. I don't get in a tan in bed. I'm none of that.
I've got a good one for you. Most famous person to see my cheeks.
Okay.
I'm going to take you back to Harvard. 2004. We had just
the twins.
won the Ivy League title.
Oh, okay.
No, not the Winklevi.
Okay. No. Okay. Zuckerberg.
Not Zuckerberg. Well, he probably saw him at one point, maybe at the Mather Lather foam party, but that's another story. The president of the university at the time was Larry Summers, who just so happened to be the Secretary of Treasury from 99 to 01 for the U.S. as well. But he was the president of Harvard. He came, gave a congratulations to everybody. But I was disrobing already. And he came into the locker room and we made eye contact. I don't know if he liked what he saw or he didn't. We haven't really had many conversations since, but I feel like he's pretty famous. He's pretty far up there in our, government and history, and I like that one. But I might have to change to the Winklevoss twins. I think they may have seen my cheeks too.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Only because I know you, and I know that you didn't even remotely try to cover up or anything. You just straight up had a conversation with him. Just everything's out.
Okay, but me and you, I had to bring this up because I was asking you. I've never in my life in a hotel been in a steam room. With steam room or sauna. I've never done it, I've never wanted to do it. Not one time. And I was asking you because I know you're a big...
What about like a resort on a vacation? Nothing like that?
Never. Not once in my life have I showered anywhere other than my hotel room, gone to a spa and done any of that stuff at a hotel. Never. Not once. But that's why I was asking you, what's the etiquette? Like, what do you do? What do you wear when you're sitting in a steam room, when you're in a sauna? So we went over this, and so I did what you told me. I went for the first time ever on Friday.
What were you
Friday
wearing?
morning after our stuff. I think you were probably already gone. And I went with one of our bosses. Says I didn't want to go alone. I was nervous. And so I wore what you said. I put slippers on. I went down there in just like gym clothes. I disrobed. I throw my stuff in the locker. I put a towel on. I'm in there and just a towel in the steam room.
Okay.
And it's steamy for the first 3 or 4 minutes. I like it, but the steam's gone away. Nobody's in there yet. Our coworker didn't come to join me. He's running a little bit late. So I'm trying to figure out how to turn the steam on. I don't know. How do you turn it on? I've never been in one of these things. I go over, I look. There's like a green light. I hit it. It turns the green light off. That can't be good. Hit it again. Turns the green light on. Good. And then at the very bottom, there's a plastic cover over a red button. And so I pulled the plastic cover up and I hit the red button thinking that maybe the steam would come out.
You called 911.
So the guy that's running the spa comes sprinting in and he's like, "Is everything okay? Is it?" And I said, "I am sorry. I'm a jackass. I thought maybe that was going to turn the steam on. I didn't know." So for 10 minutes, the people downstairs that had the huge overcoats on,
yep,
those guys are up in the steam room for 10 minutes in the overcoats trying to figure out how to turn this stupid alarm off. So I went to the sauna and just sat in there in shame. And then our coworker came in. He's like, "Oh my God, what's going on with the alarm?" I don't know. I've got no idea. I've got no idea.
That kills me. Come on. I didn't think I had to go over that with you. It's on like a timer, buddy. It just. But
it wasn't coming out. I didn't know. What's the red button for? Now I know.
Now you know, but it's on a timer. Okay. You just sit there, you relax. It'll come back on.
I like the sauna better anyway.
Sauna's way better. The only problem with saunas at hotels or places like that is a lot of time they don't get hot enough or they're not heated up. And so it just it doesn't get warm enough for it to count, really.
Well, I was trying to sweat it out with, I had some issues Thursday, little wardrobe malfunction.
You did. Can you talk to me about, have you told anybody about what you had to do to your shirt there? Because, let me tell you something. If we had to give him MVP of the game the other night, Saquon might have been the player on the field. But let me tell you something. Those 2 buttons on the front of your shirt, those suckers, listen, you talking about staying rooted and grounded? They should get the Witness Protection Award this week because they held on for dear life on Thursday night.
It's an issue. I just, I don't know if the shirts are getting tighter or just getting a little bit bigger.
Based off what we had to do in the green room, I think the shirts are getting a little tighter. I mean, do you want to share, your technique?
So my buttons needed some relief. And it was actually the second shirt because the first shirt didn't even fit. I couldn't even get it on. So I put a second shirt on. And the buttons were tugging a little bit to the point where this was like, I think it was Jason Kelsey week 1. Those things were about to pop. And I actually texted him about it and I'm feeling the same struggle. And so I asked Kenny, who does a great job with our wardrobe. I said, "Kenny, I think I need to have you slit the back of my shirt." And she was like, "What?" I said, I need some relief. Like, what's the big deal? I was wearing a jacket the whole time. Nobody ever saw it.
We've heard of pleats in your pants. We've heard of some slits on the side of a shirt. Not a lot of let's cut it down the middle of the back of my shirt to give me some stress relief.
She probably went from like 4 inches below my neck and just cut that thing a good 12 to 14 inches, and it was instant relief. It felt so good. But
what are we going to do, bud?
Here's what I need.
What's the plan
from you.
going forward?
I need to ask you.
Okay.
I need an accountability partner.
Okay, I'm here for you.
Because when we're players, you have a weekly weigh-in, right? Yep. And so I think when did you usually weigh in? Thursday mornings or
Thursday
Fridays?
mornings was our
Thursday
deal.
mornings.
Yep.
So it was always, I wasn't able to eat on Wednesdays towards the tail end of my career because I had to weigh under 229.
Quarterback who can't make it weigh.
I had to weigh under 229. I pleaded with coaches. I said, "Look, I'm almost 40 years old here. Like I led the team in rushing last year, Brian Flores. What's the deal with you trying to keep my weight under 229?
And if you don't know this, for everyone that listens in, like in an NFL locker room, weigh-in day is serious. I mean, there's guys in there in the sauna, they might not get to work till 5 minutes before the team meeting at 8:00 on most days. But on weigh-in day, they're in the sauna at 5:30 in the morning. I mean, they might sit in the sauna. The feats that some of them pull off, the 2 hours before they have to weigh in, might be more physical exertion than they actually do in the game. Because they will do whatever it takes to get that 5, 6, 7, 10 pounds off just to make weigh-in so you don't get fined. I mean, there is some commitment going on. And there's some guys that, listen, if a coach won't ever cancel a weigh-in, they get hot. They get hot. I can remember Big Boss Man Bobby Williams.
Oh,
he used to
Big
get
Bobby.
real upset. If it was a holiday and Coach Chip Morton didn't cancel our weigh-in, Boss Man was not happy about it.
Well, and depending on who was doing the weigh-in as well, like guys would bribe. I mean, it's a lot cheaper to give the guy weighing in $1,000 than it is to pay $800 a pound.
Easy.
I don't know if you ever got fined. I got fined once in my career for weigh-ins, and this was Brian Flores trying to be an asshole. And Brian and I still have a great relationship, but just trying to be an asshole. I stepped on the scale. I weighed 229.8. In my fine weight, I had to weigh 229 or less. You know what I did with that? I appealed that shit right away to Neil Ehrlich. And I said, look, I got to weigh 229. I'm 229.8. That counts. I shouldn't be fined $800 for 0.8 pounds. I won my appeal.
Well, let's be honest. What would you tip the scale right now? Would you make that 229 right now?
So this is hell no. I wouldn't make the 229. You saw my shirt. You saw my buttons.
All right. So what's our plan going forward?
I don't really want to do the scale thing. I don't want to hop on the scale every week, and I'm trying to think of a different way. You know, I'm an XL shirt. I'll never go to a double X. Doesn't matter if I'm a triple X. I'll still wear an XL. We'll keep it tight. But is there a better way? I know you work out a ton. A better way that I can like measure, or that you can keep me accountable every week, every other week in terms of.
Let's do this. I'm only with you for a few days a week. So here's what I think might be better.
Yeah. By the way, you made me eat like 14 Philly cheese rolls after the game at 1:30 in the morning.
Pretty sure you set that bucket in front of you and ate them yourself. But
they're so good.
Here's what we can control. Okay, we can only control what we can control. I can't control what you're doing Monday to Wednesday, or really Saturday to Wednesday every week. Okay, but you are with me on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So here's what we can control. On Thursdays, okay, we'll take an ode from our guy that we had to do our walk with, Frank. Let's do this. Let's at least get 10,000 steps in every Thursday.
Okay. I like that.
Can we do that? Let's start there.
We definitely did it this last Thursday. Right?
So let's just start with our steps.
Okay.
We'll make a couple better decisions on Thursdays, eating wise. A little. We'll share our meals. How about that? You want to share you want to split a salad and a white wine?
No, I don't. I don't want to live that way.
Okay.
I don't.
Let's get our 10,000 steps in, and then we'll worry about the rest after that. Okay. Let's do the baby steps right now. Okay. 10,000 steps every Thursday.
Okay. Thank you,
All right?
friend. Thank you, friend.
So 10,000 steps every Thursday. That's going to be our goal. Here's a great opportunity coming up this week. Because speaking of every Thursday, you know what we got this week? We're going to Cleveland, baby. Al Michael's favorite city. We're going to Cleveland. We got the Steelers at Browns. I mean, listen, Cleveland has not given us a whole lot to be excited about this season from a football standpoint. But the Steelers, I am excited to see them in person. I want to watch this football team play, get a little better gauge. I always feel like when we get down on that field, we get to see teams play in person. We get a better feel. But what are you most excited about going to Cleveland, Fitz?
I got a couple things. One, Jameis almost threw for 400 today.
Okay.
So I've got a lot of friends on that staff. I'm excited to see Jameis. Like you said, excited to see the Steelers. But actually, Whit, this is the week where I'm coming out to L.A. on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
And we're filming some sort of promo for Black Friday. But I think I get to fly with you on Air Al.
Oh, you got the invite?
So I've been thinking about this for a while. I've been on there once or twice, but I have not been on there this year. So I wrote down a list of questions I was going to ask you.
Well, I'm on the committee of whether people get invited back. So
I just know there's certain etiquette. There's certain things I need to do. So I wrote down some questions because I'm just nervous about it. Number one, is there a dress code?
There is zero dress code. So you're okay there. Don't worry about that. You can go relaxed.
Okay. I can't remember when they do the pre-takeoff safety video, is that in Al's voice or no?
I wish it was, but no, it is not in Al's voice.
So could I recommend that to him, or should I make eye contact with him or no?
Here's what I would say. Al is usually finishing up some work when we're leaving, so you just got to make sure he's not on a Zoom or one of his meetings. But yes, I think he would really appreciate that. I think he likes any kind of input that people would enjoy about, possibly enjoying their flight better. So I think he would take it well.
Okay, and don't dick me over on this. Is there a seating chart? Do I need to avoid certain seats? Don't put me in a seat I'm not supposed to be in.
Do you think I would answer that honestly to you right now?
Okay,
I mean,
so I shouldn't even ask you that.
I'm kidding. There is no seating chart other than you cannot sit in Al's chair, okay, or Carissa's chair, which I will point out to you when we get there.
Okay.
CT has a chair designated. Jared and I, as we usually say, we fly economy in the back. So, we are allowed to sit anywhere that's not anywhere near the front. So we're not allowed to sit with Al and CT. Other than that, we can sit where we want.
Are we allowed to play cards?
You and I, probably. Al will probably be on a Zoom, or possibly doing work, getting ready for the game. But you have to keep it down. It's like flying with Dad. So you got to keep it down.
Do you put headphones on, or is that disrespectful?
You've met me before. I don't have any problem putting on a set of headphones and ignoring everybody in a room because, like I said before, I don't get too bothered by just doing my own deal. You know me well. But I wear headphones. I will say this.
You do? Okay.
Nobody else does, but I am the one person who wears headphones.
2 more questions, the last one being the most important, but the first one, the food. This is a serious question. Are there vegetables on the flight?
There will be 0 vegetables on this
no
flight.
vegetable. Can we bring our own vegetables?
Now listen, there's more likely there will be buckets of candy corn, probably all kinds of chocolates and candies, fruit plates, usually some kind of deli plate. Usually I would say the food is a little healthier on the way there than on the way back.
Okay.
On the way back, sometimes we can have some fried chicken and pizza. Kind of depends on the place we're at. He enjoys that on the way back. But
cool.
On the way there, it's mostly sweets. And Al loves his candy corn, so there'll definitely be some of that.
Okay. The most important question, and I just made up all of those questions so I could ask this one.
Okay.
I don't know if you know where I'm going or not. Let's just say I have 2 coffees in the morning. We take off.
Oh my God!
An
I know
hour
where
into
you're
the
going
flight,
now.
and I have to go to the bathroom.
You can't do that on somebody's plane.
Have you gone? You can't, right?
What do you do that on somebody's plane? You just got to hold it, buddy. I mean, that's why you do all this glute work, man.
I feel like I would hold it as long as I could, and then I would go back there, and it'd have to be as fast as a pee would take, because then I'd come back out and act like nothing happened.
You just better hope there's a good air drift in that plane, because that's going to be an awkward situation if you do it, 2 hours into a 4-hour flight.
That's what I'm most nervous for.
Here's what I would say. Let's just be careful what we eat on Tuesday night, and maybe we skip breakfast on Wednesday. Okay. Let's just wait. Let's
breakfast, no coffee.
Fly hungry.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to it. Can't wait to see you in Cleveland. Can't wait for you to be holding me accountable. 10,000 steps.
We're going to get it.
And we got to see what these Steelers are all about, man. Let's hope that Russell Wilson comes to the desk and Richard Sherman can ask him some questions. Can't wait.
He loves asking him questions.
All right. See you next week.
We're all out of time.